Picture a guy in a jewelry shop. He's sweating, his hands are shaking, and he's about to spend 2 whole months of his salary on a rock the size of a pea. Why? Because he's been told two things his entire life: that this rock is incredibly rare and that it was forged from coal under millions of years of pressure. Here's the awkward part. Both of those things are lies, and the rock isn't going to tell him. So I will. Let's back up. What even is a diamond? Brace yourself, because it is not glamorous. A diamond is carbon. Just carbon. The exact same stuff as the soot in your chimney, the lead in your pencil, and the burnt bits at the bottom of your toast. The only difference between a worthless smudge of pencil and a ring worth a small car is how the atoms are stacked. Same ingredient, wildly different price tag. Which brings us to lie number 1. Diamonds are made from coal. You've seen the cartoon. A lump of black coal gets squeezed in a giant fist and pop! Out comes a sparkling diamond. Superman did it. Your school textbook probably said it. It feels true. It is completely wrong. Here's why. Coal is made from ancient plants, squished forests that grew a few 100 million years ago. But most diamonds? They are way, way older. They formed over 1 billion years ago, deep inside the earth, long before there were any forests to squish. Most diamonds are older than the first tree, older than the first fish. Some are nearly as old as the planet itself.
So a diamond can't be made from coal for the simple reason that the diamond was already here, sitting in the dark before coal's ingredients had even shown up to the party. What actually happens is wilder. About 150 kilometers underground, where it is hot enough to melt almost anything and the pressure is monstrous, pure carbon gets locked into that super tight diamond pattern, and then it just waits for 1 billion years, until a very rare, very violent kind of volcano fires a blast of rock straight up to the surface like a geological elevator, carrying the diamonds along for the ride. So your engagement ring didn't come from a cute lump of coal. It came from a chamber hotter than lava, deeper than any human has ever drilled, launched up by an explosion older than the dinosaurs. Honestly, way cooler story. Now, line number 2, and this one is a masterpiece. Diamonds are rare. We picture a tiny vault somewhere with a sad little handful of diamonds in it, guarded like the last cookies on Earth. The truth? There are mountains of them. Diamonds are not rare at all. We have so many that, left alone, they would be about as expensive as a fancy glass paperweight. So why do they cost a fortune? 2 words: clever people. In the late 1800s, gigantic diamond deposits were discovered in South Africa. Suddenly, the market was about to be flooded and prices were going to crash. The diamond companies panicked. And then they did something genius. They joined forces into one giant company that controlled almost the entire world supply, De Beers. And instead of selling all those diamonds, they locked most of them away in vaults, releasing only a tiny trickle at a time. Keep the supply looking small, and the price stays huge. The rarity of diamonds isn't a fact of nature, it's a decision made in an office. But they weren't done, because having a warehouse full of diamonds is useless if nobody feels they need to buy one. So in 1947, De Beers hired an advertising agency, and a copywriter wrote 4 little words that would rewire the entire planet. A diamond is forever. Think about that slogan. It quietly tells you a diamond should never be resold, which conveniently stops a flood of cheap secondhand diamonds, and that it stands for love that lasts forever. And the idea that you must propose with a diamond ring, that you should spend 2 or 3 months' salary on it? Also them. Also the ad campaign. Before all this, marrying with a diamond ring wasn't some ancient sacred tradition. It barely existed. They didn't discover a tradition, they invented one and sold it to the whole world so well that we now think it's thousands of years old. It's younger than your grandparents. So let's recap the world's most successful magic trick. Take something that isn't rare and convince everyone it is. Take something that isn't from coal and let everyone believe it is. Then attach it to love itself so that not buying one feels like you don't care. That isn't geology. That is the greatest marketing campaign in human history. And it's worth pausing here because it is not all funny. That hunger for diamonds has had a real cost. In some parts of the world, diamonds have been dug up in brutal conditions, and so-called conflict diamonds have helped fund wars and cost people their lives. The sparkle in the shop window has, at times, hidden a very dark mine. That part deserves to be taken seriously, and it is a big reason many people today ask exactly where their stone came from. So back to our nervous guy in the jewelry shop. Is the diamond beautiful? Genuinely, yes. That part was never a lie. But rare? Forged from coal? A timeless symbol that humans have always cherished? Those weren't discovered. They were sold to him, word by word, decade by decade. A diamond isn't forever, but the marketing campaign? That just might be. And if you think this is the only everyday fact that is secretly just an old advertisement in disguise, oh, that is a whole other episode.